did you think?
Wow!
Thank you all again for joining us tonight on this snowy and cold December evening. And please, a massive round of applause to our friends at A24 who brought all this to life. And now I have the honor of introducing the moderator for tonight's Q&A. He is an award-winning journalist and news anchor whose career spans from NHK to the AP to CNN to Reuters. He is also deeply involved in US-Japan culture, business, and policy as an executive vice president at the US-Japan Council. Please, a big round of applause for Fred Katayama.
Thank you, Peter. Thanks for your leadership here at Japan Society. I'm really excited about doing this event. There's so much buzz, as you know, about this film. Oscar buzz among the film critics. It's on the short list. And just in New York, a week or so ago, there was that pop-up shop where they sold the film's merchandise. Timothy Chalamet made a surprise appearance, and all the merchandise is sold out. Just a few days ago, Timothy, along with Kylie Jenner, made an appearance on the red carpet in Los Angeles in matching orange outfits, adding to the buzz. And so we hope to capture some of that orange fever here on this stage tonight. And so I'd like to introduce the crew, starting with Josh Safdie. Josh wrote, edited the film. He directed. He co-produced and co-directed.
Co-wrote.
The opposite. Co-wrote.
Co-wrote, co-edited.
Co-edited, but directed
Directed
the
and produced it, yeah.
Okay. Now, thank you.
You got all nervous up here. That's okay.
Now, Josh
I get
was-
nervous too all the time. I'm nervous right now.
He's really Mr. Cool. Josh is born and raised in New York City. You can see some of that kinetic energy in his films. And he and his brother Benny produced some big ones with that electrifying cinema, titles such as Good Time and Uncut Gems. And with Marty Supreme, he's flying solo for the first time.
Not first time.
Not the first time, second time.
Second time, yeah.
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
Or don't read on the internet.
Or don't read on the internet. Apologies, I just flew in from a business trip from DC yesterday, and I tried to catch up on all of this. Next, I'd like to bring up to the stage Michael Endo. And Michael, I have to confess, I read a lot about what I could on the internet because I couldn't find stuff about you otherwise. But Michael's one of the two co-producers of the film, and she helped coordinate those scenes that you saw in Japan that led to that climactic scene at the end. It was so crucial to the film. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I read that you're born in Helsinki, raised in Tokyo,
Yes.
and you came to New York at age 19?
Yeah. 20. Yeah.
20. See what the internet says? As a violinist,
I was playing, but like, yeah, I was just hanging out. Yeah.
hanging out as a violinist, and now she's a filmmaker.
She also cast two main principals in the film.
Who are?
Koto Kawaguchi, excuse me, who played Koto Endo, and Pico Ayer, who played Amin
Quite
Setri.
from time.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Next up,
Huge
Miyako
job.
Belizzi. And Miyako is the costume designer, the mastermind behind all that you saw in the film. Now, from what I read about you, you've collaborated with Josh, his brother, before, and that you're from the Bay Area,
Yes, I am.
raised by a single Japanese mother.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And along with your grandmother, had a big impact on you in fashion.
Yes, she did.
I'm
Yeah, taught me how to
double-checking
sew. Yeah, everything I know.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, your cause has really transported us back to post-war Japan. And-
Incredible work.
Thank you.
Really incredible work.
And let's bring to the stage Koto Kawaguchi.
That's so
And if you couldn't guess, he's a champion table tennis player and an actor. Now, he placed first last year at the National Deaf.
Andy's going to join us, I think?
Let me introduce, Andy is interpreter Andy Nagashima.
Who was with us on the film as well. Everybody on the film brought a piece of their essence and their soul to the film, and Andy's one of them. He was more than just a translator. He was there, came to Japan with us, and really was the proxy. Helped me, to obviously I direct Koto, but he and I were in it together, working together with Koto.
Thank you. It's crazy coming. Josh has been one of my heroes for a long time, so thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. Translate that for Koto so that he knows what I'm saying. That's how you yeah.
He said later. But anyway, he placed first last year at the National Deaf Table Tennis Championships in Japan, and as a result represented Japan at the Deaf Olympics that just took place in November. I just asked off stage, so how did you perform in that one? As with the team, he got bronze. And as a true athlete, he brought that realism onto the set. And so, you saw the film. I was looking at Rotten Tomatoes and saw the tomato meter for critics. Remember, it's not on the public yet. It was 97% liked it. But just wanted to know, people meter here at Japan Society, how'd you like the film?
Wow. 93%, I don't know.
Oh, by the way, Josh is a fan of the Japan Society. He's been coming here from what, your teens or?
Yeah, I used to come to tea ceremonies here.
Ceremony.
Unfortunately, I did an early green tea ceremony where I vomited. I wasn't really prepared for true traditional green tea.
Okay.
But it was a formative moment.
All right. Well, I saw a lot of films here, and I was just thinking, wow, this film was so energetic, kinetic, never boring. I thought, what a contrast to films like Ozu's films of Japan. But first I want to start, I'm a big fan of music, and I couldn't help but notice the film was set in the 1950s.
Yeah.
But a lot of music was set in the 1980s. Peter Gabriel, I heard, Tears for Fears.
Yes.
Everybody Wants to Rule the World. Was this an intentional disconnect, and what does it say about Marty's character?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously intentional. So I had the first thing I did with the film before I got into really any research after, my wife bought me this book that opened my eyes up to this world, and then I spoke to my great uncle who played with a lot of these guys at Lawrence's, the Midtown spot that you see in the film. I wanted to know what this looked like, the sport in 1952, because I found the historical element to be dignifying to the sport. I mean, anything that has a history has more of a soulful vibe to it. So when I saw this 40s footage of a British Open, I saw these wiry, kind of rambunctious Americans, these post-war silent generation, almost irresponsible young men, and they're bouncing all over the place. And I just was listening to Peter Gabriel's Security, and that song, I Have the Touch, the time I like is the rush hour, because I like the rush, the pushing of the people, I like it all so much, just felt right. And it got on my gut, my instinct of it made it, just felt right. And then as you write the film, I kept, being kind of pulled towards the 80s. And the film really is written from the perspective of Marty when he was a grandfather in '86 with his granddaughter at a Tears for Fears concert, watching everybody, a singer, Kurt Smith, say, everybody wants to rule the world. So the past is kind of haunting the future, and the future is kind of haunting the past. And then, you know, you start to get eggheady about it, and a little intellectual, and you start to understand what that means, and the ontological quality of the past and the future haunting one another. And the 80s were the first era, postmodern era, where you're, you know, revisiting the past, and, you know, things become in quotes, like the American dream became air quoted back then. Reagan blew up, you know, revisited rugged individual, and was chasing the prosperity and the opulence of America. Exactly. So the opulence and exuberance of the movie is definitely certainly embedded in the new wave music. You know, in the 50s, they were taking blues music, which was, you know, pretty depressive, beautiful music, but expressing a sadness, and putting a beat to it, rock and roll, and that song at the end, "Everybody Wants to Rule the World," is very inspiring, but if you listen to the words, it's like caked in anxiety, and but it's put to a very exuberant, uplifting beat. We could talk about the music all we want, but
I'm gonna go to Japan next.
yes.
So, but thanks.
Well, we don't have to go only to Japan just because we're at the Japan side, but you know, there's other people up here who are.
And so, Michael, I want to ask you about the Japan side and talk about cross-cultural connections. The scene seems so real, so authentic. That black and white Japanese newsreel really looked like the real thing. You had even small details such as that mascot of a pen character in that final match scene really looked like Japan. So how did you collaborate with Josh to ensure the authenticity of Japan in the 1950s, the period before you were born?
I think Josh and the researchers and Sarah, the executive producer, wife of Josh, researched a lot, tons of the errors, Japanese, styles, and like all the pictures, and she contacted me about the things she couldn't find in English and stuff. So I was in Japan, so I went to the library and stuff, and searched on it, and I was just helping her what she wanted to know and stuff, and yeah, so Josh knows better the whole vision of how you conclude the.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about Koto's character, and it's fascinating. Even the guy Lawrence, who owns the ping pong parlor in Midtown, there were these footnotes of history that I stumbled on in the history and in the research. And he's the first black business owner in the Times Square district. No one knows that. No one talks about it. This whole subculture of outcasts and misfits, no one talks about them because their dream was one that no one really respected, but they were these really urgent people. The Hiroji Sato, who was the player who Koto's character's inspired by, is a real person, and the Japanese came out of isolation in 1952 through table tennis. And that was fascinating to me. Japan after the war was a very interesting place. We'll never see an embrace of defeat like that ever again, and the beginning of passive colonialism, etc., etc. So I was fascinated by this folk hero, who exploded in that moment that most Japanese people have never heard of. Never heard of. They know Ogimura, who's one of the really popularized table tennis in the world. But no one knows Hiroshi Sato because he was not a star. He was just a guy, a tradesman who showed up in India in '52 and destroyed everybody with a paddle that was designed by an inventor in Japan, and the name of the paddle was the atomic paddle, which was so fascinating. We tried hard to squeeze it into the newsreel. It could have probably worked, but you get into this place where you're trying to find any moment to cut. So I started talking to Maiko about this, and I've always had a real fondness for the Japanese people, and my great-grandfather spent a lot of time there. He actually adopted a young 6-year-old Jewish girl. She became Jewish, Well, Michael's convinced that the Japanese are one of the lost tribes. Sent me a lot of really deep cut YouTube videos. There are strange parallels. He adopted a little girl who came to live with my grandmother. My uncle was bar mitzvahed in Tokyo in like 1955 or something like that. And so I had always a big interest in Japanese culture, the transition in all their eras. So I reached out to Maiko to be like, do you know of this? She said, never heard of this story. Most people haven't. And it's a pretty, from my point of view, pretty important moment in Japanese history. And it's just, I always find that through these very small stories, you can actually paint a much bigger picture. And that it's through the individual that you can understand people. And that was why we went to Japan to shoot. Someone's like, you could have done that here as one location. And we went for the people of Japan. We went for the soul. We shot on Orchard Street for the soul of Orchard Street. And, and Maiko is a very soulful person and a great artist in her own right. She's made some great films. And I knew with her by my side in Japan, she could help me not only find Koto, which she did. I leaned on her for the casting of that part, which was very hard. She turned me on to Pico Iyer, who had a TED Talk about table tennis in 1952. The only thing, and when I watched that, I was writing with Ronnie, and it's like, this guy is unbelievable. And he's an author and a philosopher. And I cast him to be an antagonistic kind of dickhead. And if you know him, he's an incredibly peaceful.
Yeah, we work for the same company, Time Inc.
He's an
an
amazing person, incredibly peaceful. When I told him there was a scene we cut that he had to be angry, he said, Josh, I've never been angry in my life. He said, that's what I want to see. I want to see what that looks like. So anyway, that was why I reached out to Maiko. And then when we came time to producing the film there, it was really helpful because there was a lot of pre-production happening in America. It was very helpful for me to have someone who I respect and trust artistically there to be able to speak to, and for her to actually be able to communicate to some of the department heads there, knowing what I'm interested in my films.
Okay, Josh, since you mentioned Koto and Hiroshi Sato, I'd like to ask you, Koto, speaking of authenticity, you're the table tennis champion. But in this role, you've had to play, again, a table tennis champion who beats, I guess, Marty twice. Was it hard to play that role as an actor? Were there anything that Josh told you about sharing your experience of victory as you did on that film?
はい、普段は卓球テントってやっているんですけど、今回、ジョッジ監督から熱い依頼を受けて、初めての経験だったんですけど、自分の中では
for years to master, to get really good at. But what he was most impressed with as he was practicing with him and shooting with him at the table was his performance and his ability to improvise. Although there were, I don't know how many points we choreographed with Diego in a way, but hundreds. Each point was choreographed and written down, and in between each take is they're drinking water. We're saying, okay, next one is this. That memorization and his ability to improvise when it didn't go well was the thing he was most impressed with by Timmy.
And I'll say, choreographer and coordinator and consultant, he said, Timmy and Koto are never going to be able to do more than one point in a row. But for me, that was where, in between the points is where the drama and narrative and the emotions of the game kind of show through. And that was what I was most impressed by as the performers, both Timmy and Koto. Of course, they just would roll into the next point, which was amazing. It's like, oh, they're going to do another one, then they're going to do another one. But the way that they would exchange glances in between is, you write an idea on the page, but you're never going to do better than how they feel in the moment, charged by the hundreds and hundreds of extras around them in both London and Tokyo. And that was when, that moment when he's up 4-0, he's letting him know that that's when you see the performers come out, and that's when I was most grateful that they were able to be so prepared.
Thanks. And Miyako, I want to say the last question for you. And with the clothing, the costume choices often represent class and also ambition. he starts, working as a shoe salesman on the Lower East Side. He says, I got to get a suit to go to Europe. We see him, even at the end, when he looks at his baby, he's dressed in a suit, albeit without a tie. What did you discover about the gap between who Marty is and who Marty thinks he is, and how Marty thinks he should be, given his ambition, when you thought about clothing him through the various stages?
Yeah, I mean, the suit is who the man he wants to be. And
We just let him run. And so just want to, let's give a warm round of applause.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you, everybody.
And thank you to the team of A24 for helping coordinate all this. Thank you to Japan Society and the team led by Peter Tatara, and the folks who raise the money to make these programs possible, led by Greg Corsico in development. And finally, thanks to all of you for coming today on this snowy, cold day.
Josh. Yep. Josh, can I show you something? Yep. Original Marty Racquet.
Oh my God.
He gifted that to me. He gifted it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you for showing that to me. That's
I was
amazing.
in
I've
a-
seen a couple of them.
Yeah, but no, this is my invention.
What's up?
It's a patented invention.
That's beautiful.
It's mine.
The case?
Yes.
I remember you from shooting.
Yes.
You were in Florida.
Yes, I was.
Yours? Yep.
Maybe in like an hour.
Okay. So
Josh, if Timothy wanted to use this for promoting the film, I'll be glad to give it to him.
Okay.
we have to head out, but thank you so much.
So yeah, I'll tell them.
Okay.
SDR?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
See ya.
Perfect. Okay, and it worked. You were able to get the pictures, correct? Okay, good.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, last one. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
My hand is printed like printed. Thank you so much.
Face it. Come on.
You know what this is?
Yes. No, you can give him one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
An original Marty.
Yes.
He gifted it to me.
そうなんか始まる前に
海の利は気がそう契約で
どの関係
The announcer, Koji Arena, is he?
So
Josh, if Timothy wanted to use this for promoting the film, I'll be glad to give it to him.
Okay.
we have to head out, but thank you so much.
So yeah, I'll tell them.
Okay.
SDR?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
See ya.